for you on this guy. Cult of Metamorphosis, the Juggernaut. This guy's big. I guess he has a lot of pieces. Real quick, here's his stat card. We'll just zoom in for you. You can take a look at it. Come back out a little bit. You might know all this stuff already. Special abilities are on the back as usual. But like I said, it's a figure forge. We're going to hop right in. Nice big base. We're going to... Hey, maybe. Anyway. We're not going to put the model on the base today. Because I've got ideas. I'm thinking about throwing this on here. Or maybe using this as like just dirt and stuff. And I like this log a lot because he's really big. I like the splitting end effect. It's not splitting so much on that end. But obviously I got to cut some of this down and I'm going to splinter it. That'll be a whole nother video. So, wasting no time, we're going to get right to it. The Juggernaut is different than a lot of models I've put together because for a big model he's really not that many pieces. But he's got two really small heads. He also has bleed, which basically grants when he does that attack, he gives the people that he hits, the enemy models he hits I should say, bleed tokens. And he's pretty brutal. And what that means is that he's anti-parry. And so if a model is attempting to parry him, he ignores that. We're going to hold this in here until it dries because the legs are pretty important and I need them to set. We may end up having to figure out how to glue him on his base anyway. But he also has horrible death, which what that means is when he kills a model or removes a model from the game, an enemy model I should say, he pretty much scares everybody within 4 inches of him and they get a panic token. But I think one of the coolest things is Ion Shield. Basically, before any attack is made against him, he gets to roll, and if he succeeds, they get a disrupt. The enemy attacking gets a disruption counter. He's also non-living, which means he doesn't panic, if I remember correctly. Yeah, he doesn't get panic counters. He also has pull, which is pretty cool, which is kind of like right out of Mortal Kombat, in the sense that, you know, get over here. He makes his attack, and if he hits the model, the model gets pulled X directly towards him. What else? And he's tough as nails, so he ignores crit AR fails. And now we got the other leg on. And I'll show you why in a second here. Why we're going to not glue him to the base right away. But it looks like there's hardly any glue on there. Hard to bond if there's no glue. Now I'm going to say, okay, so you can see right there's a bit of a gap. You want to pull it down a little bit. There's going to be a little bit of a gap in the hip area up there, but you're going to have a lot more points of contact if you do this than if you push it up a little bit more. And there's a little bit of a gap in there, but that's life. So here's what I'm referring to. So if you put his foot flat on the ground, or flat on the base, his other foot's off the ground. So if you put that foot flat on the ground, his foot in the back is really high off the base. So my plan is to do that. Oops, let's get back on camera. Is to do something like that. Or like this. That's my plan. He's still going to have a little bit of a lean unless I do something back here. But if you look at the box, he actually has a higher spot in the back so he can put his hand on the ground. So I'm going to have some things to play with here as I do this. And that's one of the reasons why we're not going to put him right on the base. And I think what you do next is you do this hand here, or this arm. I'm not worried about this hand yet. The hand goes in the joint here, and that's what goes on the ground. I'm not worried about that nearly as much as I am as getting this arm in. Now you might see that there, that is already filed off, and it's going to be hidden in there very well. I put a little bit too much glue in this, so I'm going to grab one of these old pieces of model foam stuff that I've got lying around, and I'm going to put it, I'm going to rub his arm off. And now I pushed his arm up there to close the gap a little bit. That's going to leave a little bit of gap in the armpit, but that's okay. And then we're going to do the other big arm like that. One thing I will admit is there's very little cleanup on this model. Now you might be looking at that like that's flashing. That's actually a vein. I don't know if you can tell that on camera, but that is actually a vein. So you don't need to file that off. That's a vein that runs down here like this, comes here. There's another one that comes here and comes down here. I'm going to say that's not enough glue. Put a little bit in there. And I'm going to let that dry a little bit. Look at that. Oh, like I said, I'm going to let that dry a little bit. I almost like the idea of putting him like that, like he's stomping on something. I mean, but then I need something a lot bigger than this. And that gets, at what point in time is it going to be too big on the base? So, well, here, let's put his hand on. I'm going to put the glue in this end. We're not going to push too hard, because if I push too hard, his arm's going to bust off. And I really don't want that. Actually, that's not, wow. That makes it a lot different. That makes it a lot different. I'm definitely going to put something in the back now, I think. Can move his hand a little bit. That's how he's going to get glued on the base. Let me come back here a little bit. You can't see through my thumb, but something's going to go underneath the foot in the back. I've got his hand flat on the ground, that's the way it's going to stay. And then there's not really much left to this model. It's just a matter of figuring out which of these extra arms goes where without destroying things. And that one goes there. Let's check the other side first. Now there's no hand. It's actually like an assemble or a. It's like it's grafted in. So there is no hand. You can't tell which side's correct on that piece. Wipe some of that out of there real quick. And I'm using Loctite Super Gel today. I've been using it for a while now. I kind of like it. I think it might be a bit overpriced because it doesn't seem to last long. But I don't have the running problems that I have with other super glues. And there is one other problem I have with it. If you don't use it all, like, print it away, it seems to go bad. And that one goes there. And we're almost done. His pulling mechanism goes on the top. And his, I don't know what you call this, his spinal augmentation goes back here. Now, there's no instructions, so I think it goes there, and I actually nipped another little piece off right there. You can kind of see it. I do not believe that this is the right fit, but you could put it that way. It seems to go, I think it goes in better this way. And you know what? Since it's my model, that's what I'm doing. Ignore the background. That's my son playing Destiny 2. There you go. Skarrd Juggernaut. 13 minutes. Fully assembled. Almost on his base. Probably going to do something like that. Thanks for watching, guys. It's been another Figure Forge with Matt Lemke from Through Gamer Goggles. Gamer-goggles.com.